as if Wales is going to kick off. And it is Hodgson, I think, to kick off to open this international. John Wilcox with a breeze and very little wind. A breeze at his back. England defending the open southern end. A line out. 10 yards on the England side of their 10-yard line. Let's look at some England numbers to start with. Budge Rogers, number 7. 6, Pat Ford, fits in on top these days, now age 31. The new captain, he has it now. Being dealt with fairly ruggedly by Brian Thomas. Simon Clark kicking on. And it's Dowie Bebb, who when he first played for Wales against England down at Arms Park, got the try which brought Wales victory. The referee this afternoon, Mr. Kelleher of Ireland, is just out from the Welsh 25. England's ball. Their loose head, always on the left. Horrocks Taylor. Kick for the new wing, Ransom. Hodgson. There's a chance for England, Ransom. And he's got it. It's a try. Number 5 is the new man. There he is, at the front of the line-out. Number 3, coming round now, Bob Rowell. Horrocks Taylor. And another nasty one for Graham Hodgson. But a beautiful kick. That's Rogers trying to go through with it. Looked as if it was thrown forward by Ken Jones. Still on the 25, it'll be England's ball, knock on by Wales. A very seasoned English pack this. Ron Jacobs 35 in the front row, Stan Hodgson a bit, still being 33, although the cynics think he may be a good deal older. Peter Ford, 31, his first cap. Beautiful heel by Hodgson. Horrocks Taylor off again. Inside to Budge Rogers, and here goes Perry, destroying another score. David Perry of Bedford. 6-0, what a start for England. And the Welsh defence really nowhere. Big jump by Brian Price.
It'll be interesting to see how this England pack lasts. Apparently they're 3 years a man, on average, older than the Welsh pack, and it might show in the closing quarter.
Well, I think it's time Wales had a bit of luck with the bats. Anyway, here they are, right down in the corner. Spurred on by, and I guess anything from 15 to 20,000 compatriots up from the Principality. John Mantle's got it under that lot, well away. Now here goes Watkins. And there goes Ken Jones. This will be a try, will it? Bradshaw out to Bebb. He's out. A very fine Welsh try indeed. Scored by Dowie Bebb of Swansea. We're in injury time in this first half. With that brilliant try and signs of a Welsh revival at forward. David Weaver of Swansea comes from Gleneath. He didn't fancy playing on the wing. However, he got 37 tries for his club there. It's a club record, and then he moved on to Swansea. And here he is with a Welsh cap. David Perry. Ran Rogers, felled by Alan Thomas. Mantle with it. Mantle's Pretty strong at close quarters. Number 1 in the thick of it, Ron Jacobs. Norman Gale, number 2. Horrocks Taylor. Budge Rogers. Mike Weston. Very quick acceleration, lengthening his stride. Gary Bibb. Nice piece of working defence by Bibb. But the line out on the Welsh 25. 6-3, that's all, just 3 points. Jacobs, Horrocks Taylor, and up and under, a little bit too far forward. Graham Hodgson, no, missing the mark, but recovering well. Tom Wilcox, just out of your present picture, coming up to have a word with Horrocks Taylor. Will he go for a drop goal, or work the blind side, or will Wilcox come in on the blind side? He's going to come inside. Wilcox with it. No, a dummy scissors. My word, it's right on the line. Forward pass, I should think. Hodgson, Rogers going in there for the charge down. England's ball, Phillips throwing in, just inside the 25. Mike Davis for England. Bob Rowell, well back to Clark. Horrocks Taylor, Alan Thomas, and Mantle going in on him, and rather fluffy tackling, they're letting him go. Ken Jones is under it, Wilcox to mark. Of course, 10-yard line down to the England 25. Mantle trying to put the English one offside. And there's a nasty one for the English defence. It's run into touch by Simon Clark. And memory went back there to Murrayfield last year when that was just what Clyde Rowland spent the whole afternoon doing, hooking it back over his forwards' heads. Clyde Rowland letting it out to Watkins. Watkins trying to drop goal. Got on by Phillips, but taking the advantage line. Ken Jones. And here goes Bibb, and he's over. 6-all. His second try of the match. 6-all it is. Don't know whether that was wishful thinking on Godwin's part. 5 yards it is. Three and a half minutes left, plus injury time. 6 points all. This is Ron Jacobs breaking away. Perry is there. And the referee going to Brian Thomas, wasn't in touch. Wales will strive desperately to get it back, but the whistle has gone, and it's a penalty to England. Quick one. Wales, their last desperate throw, injury time now. They have the ball for this scrummage. Maybe their last chance. Wales, I think, have got it all right. And he's trying, looking for a blind, open side break to link up with his forwards. There goes Brian Thomas. Mantle slipping, Alan Thomas. Budge Rogers piling on him. Goes Drakely. Perry going away, and a penalty to Wales. Oh. Picking the ball out of that maul off the ground. seems to me that Graham Hodgson is in his boot, his hands alone, to win this match now for Wales. Halfway in, a little more than halfway in, just a shade outside the 25. 6 points all. Can Hodgson win the match with this kick for Wales?
Well, I certainly wouldn't like to be in his boots, Peter. Absolutely vital kick. Just taking plenty of time. Steadies himself.
We've had nearly 2 minutes of injury time, and he's missed it. The referee looking at his watch, exactly 2 minutes of injury time gone. Are they beaming English faces or miserable Welsh ones? I leave you to decide. Horrocks Taylor dropping out. Alan Patch going up. Here comes Ron Jacobs. Back to Horrocks Taylor. Looks to me as if England are happier to sit on this score at the moment than Wales. We've had now just over 3 minutes of injury time in this half. It's 43 minutes gone. It's the Welsh ball on their own 10-yard line. Kick to Wales against Budge Rogers, offside. Wales must run with the ball now, surely. There goes Clive Rowlands. Hanson caught with it on his 25, and it's no side, the whistle has gone. It's 6 points all, no triple crown for England or for Wales this season.
The New Zealanders perform their war dance, the haka, in the presence of Her Majesty the Queen. The All Blacks are back at Twickenham in this famous fixture, this famous ground where in 1924 Cyril Brownlee, the All Black, was sent off. The ground where Prince Obolensky in the 30s scored his 2 famous tries, including that wonderful diagonal run. And the ground where last time here Colin Meads, that great All Black forward, scored his memorable try, and we're hoping to get more memories this afternoon in the first rugby union game in Britain to be televised in colour. Well, so far on this tour, the All Blacks have had 3 games. They've won them all. They've beaten the Northern Counties. They beat Midland, London and home counties last Saturday in that tremendous game, that great fight by the counties side. And in midweek, they beat the South of England at Bristol. So this afternoon, they come here to Twickenham to face an England side which has shown its confidence in the pack, which performed so heroically at Leicester last Saturday by choosing them all en bloc. All 8 of them go into the England side today, captained and skippered by Phil Judd. There are 2 new caps in the England side. They've got Gittings, the Coventry half-back, who also had a fine game last Saturday, coming in at scrum half. And at centre, they've got the Harlequin centre, Lloyd. That's the home side, that's England, hoping to win for only the 2nd time in 60 years in England against the All Blacks. Now here's the visiting side, the unbeaten tourists, the All Blacks. They also have new caps, significantly at first 5/8. They've got Earl Curtin. Earl Curtin playing there in his first Test match, although he has played in All Black colours 15 times, and in the forwards, that big, tall, rangy forward Williams, who I saw score 2 fine tries at Manchester against the north of England. So those are the sides. A match this afternoon on a ground which is very wet. There's been a lot of rain. It's still raining now, and this may make conditions rather treacherous, but the match is being played in the presence of Her Majesty the Queen. So those are the sides. Our match commentator is Bill McLaren.
This is John Finland about to start the match. And in fact, it's Peter Larter who almost catches the All Blacks by surprise. That was Birtwistle fielding on the second chance. And so already England have shown that they're going to be alert and enterprising. This line out is 2 minutes outside the All Black 25. Number 6 at the tail for England is Budge Rogers, playing in his 30th international, if one doesn't include the Canadian match. Savage throwing. Larter palms. Owen has it. And the scrummage comes out 15 yards. And this is where the weight of the All Blacks is going to tell. They're fully a stone a man heavier, an average weight in their pack of 15.5 stones. Laidlaw waiting, the All Blacks holding and driving. They're going to wheel, and there's a good Scottish tactic in the right kind of conditions. There's Chris Laidlaw, only 19 when he came here in 1963-64, a mature player now of 11 internationals. Nicely out, not to his outside half Curtin, but to McCormick, the fullback. Got to watch for McCormick. Number 15 is up in the attacking line far more often than the average fullback. This is Savage going to throw. Toured with the British Lions in Australia and New Zealand. Didn't play in a test. Nicely to Gittings. Not very good to Finland. McFadden in trouble. Up comes Williams. Lloyd went down there, picked up by Curtin, just outside the English 25. Here the New Zealanders watching it to Colin Meads from Tremaine. Beautifully back to Laidlaw. Nicely out to Davis. This is the centre playing it stand-off. Magnificent run by Davis. Can he get there? It's a try for Curtin. Beautiful try for Curtin. Puts New Zealand ahead by 3 points to 0 after 6.5 minutes of the first half. And what a moment for this fellow Errol Curtin, because he's played 15 times for the All Blacks, and this is the first time in an international, and he's put his side ahead by 3 points to 0. And we go back to Fergie McCormick, the fullback. There he is, this short, stocky figure with the prop forwards build, 5'8", over 13 stones, 28 years old, who's scored 45 points in the 3 tour games he's played in so far. There's the distance and the angle. Well within his range. The ball not yet really terribly heavy. And it's absolutely plumb centre. And so the All Blacks lead England by 5 points to 0 after 7.5 minutes of the first half. And they couldn't have had a more heartening start, with a try that was really started off by forward drive, initial forward drive, and then the backs handling in the other direction. Quite brilliant. Tremendously encouraging for those English forwards, that long kick by Finland. There's nothing that excites a forward more than to be running up the field and not back down towards his own line. Meads got that back nicely. Curtin took his eye off it. This is Rogers trying to give it to Taylor, but he hasn't. It's taken by Williams. Here's this Wellington flanker. Almost up to the England 25. McRae joining in, number 13, dribbling on. And this is Meads up there as well. Williams is there, number 6. And it's a try for Birtwistle. A sudden breakaway there. And Birtwistle has scored to put the New Zealanders ahead by 8 points to 0. And so it's Fergie McCormick, the All Black fullback, trying to convert that try. See how wonderfully stocky and strong this fellow is about the legs. He really could play as a forward. It's there. 10 points to 0. The All Blacks lead. 27 minutes of the first half gone. Well, we'll get that changed in a moment. Yes, here we go. That's the correct... Is it? No, hardly. Anyway, Finland has restarted. The ball has gone directly into touch without bouncing in the field of play. The All Blacks have decided to take the scrummage. They could have accepted the line out or asked England to take the kick again. But when you're 15.5 stones average weight up front, you obviously take the scrummage. They haven't lost one against the head so far. Nicely picked up by Lochore. This is Williams, the flank forward. Out to Laidlaw. Brilliant move by the forwards. But it went just slightly forward there. This is 12, 15 yards outside the English 25. A heel against the head. Laidlaw to Curtin. There's the high cross kick, but McRae, the centre, really wasn't alert to that. Oh, what trouble Webb's in. He may have to carry over. He's just short. In go the All Blacks, trying to ruck it clear. And here's a wonderful opportunity for the All Blacks again, because this time they have the advantage of the put-in. They certainly have the weight to push England back if they're all tightly knit and bound. A penalty against the All Blacks. I think against the hooker McLeod. And this is Don Rutherford. Keltremain in the middle. The man with the sweatband is Sam Strawn of Manawatu, North Island. Out to Curtin. This is McRae. The short kick through meant for Davis. Birtwistle, he's got a beautiful bounce. He's over the 25. Can he make the corner? He's inside Rutherford. Well tackled by Savage. A yard short. The ball went forward. It was Davis who followed up, but the ball shot forward. And you can't be more on the defensive than that situation. Gittings waiting. And it's a try. A try for Williams, who has dived in and scored a try because the scrimmage the referee has decided had ended. The ball had gone over the line, the scrimmage had ended, and any player could then play the ball, and Williams got a hand to it first, and he's put the New Zealanders ahead by 13 points to 0 after about 32 minutes of the first half. This is Fergie McCormick. Twice has scored 20 points in a match. And it's just past the right-hand post, but New Zealand firmly in the saddle, 13 points to 0 up, with I make it about 7.5 minutes to half-time. And New Zealand's record victory here at least against England over here is by 15 points to 0, so it could well be that we'll see another record today. Strawn takes that kick off. This is Gittings, and the New Zealanders absolutely full of life now, chasing every ball. They know that they're in command here, they're in command up front, and the English forwards have an awful lot to do if they're going to pull this match back. This is just outside the English 25. Lochore has broken, he's at standoff. This is Lochore from the number 8 position, committing the backs. This is McRae, the big Hawke's Bay centre. Nicely back from Williams. Laidlaw working the narrow side. This is Curtin. Curtin, can he get to the line? I think it's going to be another brilliant try. Has he touched the touch-in goal flag? We'll see. And the referee has given the try to Curtin. That's his second try of the match, and it puts New Zealand ahead by 16 points to 0 with 6 minutes to go to half-time. It could be there. It's just crept over. New Zealand 18, England 0. Already a record New Zealand score here against England, and I make it about 5 minutes to go to half-time. There's Finland, who's under intense pressure, and of course not getting the best of service, because Gittings himself is having a bit of trouble with the kind of distribution that he's having from his forwards. Strawn works it back. Laidlaw, Curtin. Curtin just outside the All Black 25. Nicely out to Laidlaw. This is Birtwistle. There's the kick ahead, and that's Big Larter going back into his own line, but into his own half rather, but they've got to come all the way back to the All Black 25. The referee waiting for an advantage to England, but clearly they lost a lot of ground. And so they get the advantage this time of putting the ball into the scrummage. Gittings, nicely to Finland. Savage, all the way through to the 25. McFadden, out to Lloyd. Lloyd must score. A brilliant try for Lloyd. And there's Bob Lloyd in his first international, an England scorer. And we're coming back to Don Rutherford with the conversion. That's more like it. Yes, that's the Don Rutherford we know. And so that must put a bit of heart into the English side. They've a long way to go yet. New Zealand 18, England 5. Just about half-time. And the referee's whistle does go for half-time, with New Zealand well ahead, well in command. And obviously Phil Judd with a tremendous amount to do to inspire this side to great things, and especially England are going to have to find inspiring form up front. And so both teams have had a good talking to from their respective skippers, but this All Black side here must be full of confidence because they've got this tremendous weight forward and they've got the stamina there. A touring side's always wonderfully fit, and it's a question now of whether the English pack can keep the pace up as Fergie McCormick restarts in the second half. Horton boring in there trying to work it clear, and eventually Billy Gittings puts it into touch just outside the English 25. This is Birtwistle, one of the try scorers. Palm by Lahore, Laidlaw, Curtin. This is McRae, the big Hawke's Bay centre, going right outside McFadden. Inside to Williams, almost up to the English 25. You see big Kel Tremaine there, number 7 on the flank for the All Blacks, having a look just to see where the English standoff was positioned, because he wants to know which side he's coming, if he can possibly tell. Gittings, Finland. There's a big one. McCormick's going to have to run for that one, right up into his own 25. Rogers coming up quickly, and Savage as well. Twelve or 15 yards inside the All Black half. That's John Owen. Behind him, Phil Judd, the English skipper. There's big Peter Larter with the sweatband. Sheriff just behind him. Birtwistle, and the All Blacks taking a lot of ball at the line out. It's not always tidy ball, but then Laidlaw is such a brilliant scrum half at scooping up the ball. There's Tony Horton, a tight head prop. Meads is in there. There's Meads, out to Laidlaw. Rutherford. Well, now it's a question. Crowd not pleased about that. It's a question of whether the ball was in Rutherford's possession as his feet were over the line or not. The touch judge obviously decided that the ball was, and therefore it's touch. Lahore palms, Laidlaw, Curtin. This is McRae. Davies on the short burst, almost up to the 25. He's got Dick outside him. This is Dick. He must score. Magnificent try by Malcolm Dick. And we come back to Fergie McCormick, who's already had 3 conversions. There's the distance and the angle. McCormick then. And it's there. It doesn't matter how it gets over, as long as it gets over in between. McCormick's 4th successful conversion, 23 points to 5 they lead. And it's John Finland to restart. At least we thought so, but this is Bob Taylor. Now this is quite interesting because Savage is inside the 25. He's given it outside to Taylor. Taylor's going to score! Oh, and he just lost it. What a pity for England. 10 minutes of the match to go. New Zealand 23, England 5. Laidlaw. This is McCormick. To Birtwistle, steps inside Taylor. Almost up to the 10 yards line. That's Budge Rogers down there. Number 1, Tony Horton. Let's see if we can see Tony Horton boring in. He's got such a powerful and strong back that he can actually bore in right on the opposing hooker, and it often disrupts his work. Nicely out to Finland. And you'll notice that there were 4 All Blacks back covering that little kick. There's Lochore, the captain, number 8. Williams, the flanker, was there as well. And Birtwistle and McCormick. Palmed by Tremaine. It's one of Laidlaw's unexpected muffs. This is the big Hawke's Bay man, McRae. Mr. Shrine, how'd you like to be at the bottom of that lot? My goodness me. Great stuff, but the ball's obviously not coming out of there. There's Bob Sheriff, who tackled Big McRae. And the All Blacks were making ground, not responsible for the stoppage, so they've got the put in. They'll be very glad of that, because still a good position for England if they could get the ball. But the All Black front row holding on well. There's the wheel, trying to dribble away. And there was a perfect example of the tremendous courage of this little English scrum half. A penalty to England, but Gittings there, diving in at the feet of the All Black forwards to stop their wheel and rush. And again, it's Peter Larter coming up to try to increase the English score. Number 14 there, Savage, the right wing. Larter, who got his only other cap against the Australians last season. Actually played 3 times against the Wallabies last season. And kicked 6 penalties and 9 conversions in Canada last month. So that looks more like it. It's a good one. And so a first kicking success for Peter Larter. New Zealand leading by 23 points to 8. This is on the English 10 yards line. And I make it less than a minute to go to no side. New Zealand 23, England 8. This is Davies, out to Dick. Dick inside to Davies, almost up to the 25. There's the high kick and Tremaine is tearing up on it. That's Lloyd clearing for England. And chasing his own kick. Back comes Curtin, going outside Lloyd. There's the high cross kick, taken by Finland on the 25. That's meant for Webb. And McCormick's racing across there, but the angle of the kick beat Webb. And first man up to the line out, number 4, Peter Larter. Bert Godwin, number 2 there as well. I make it that we're into injury time. New Zealand 23 points to 8 up as Lochore again takes it. This is Colin Meads. Look at this, like a human tank. Trying to give it to Williams, couldn't. This is nicely out to Finland. Savage thrown down on halfway, picked up by Birtwistle. This is Larter. Beautifully out to Finland. And England's forwards trying to take their tired limbs up there. Budge Rogers is in. Just 15 yards out from the New Zealand line. Can England get a last-minute score? McFadden, Lloyd. Can Lloyd make it? And Lloyd has scored a remarkable try. His second try of the match. Brilliant last-second effort by England. And let's have another quick look at that one, because it was a great try. See the step inside, and Lloyd triumphantly touching down for his 3rd try against the All Blacks in 2 matches. That makes the score New Zealand 23, England 11, with I make it about a minute of injury time already gone. And there's the kick for big Peter Larter. as the enclosure and the stands rise to Bob Lloyd, the Harlequin centre. And it's sliced. New Zealand 23, England 11. The referee's whistle goes for no side. The All Blacks have retained their 100% tour record.
And here, fresh from the bath with a lovely shiner under his right eye, the New Zealand skipper, Brian Lahore. Well, you were a long way ahead at half-time. Did you think they had the match won at that time?
Well, I thought we had sufficient points, yes.
Were you surprised at how easily you broke down the English resistance in the first half?
Yes, we didn't expect to get that many points up so early. We went out there to get early points, definitely, but not to get that many. We didn't expect that we'd get that many so early.
Did you find this as a test match any harder than some of the district matches you've been playing against north of England and south of England and Midlands?
Yes, test matches are always just that little bit hard. I think everyone just gives that little bit extra, and they're always hard. As it turned out today, it was really hard, especially in the second half when England came back, and at the finish we were fairly tired.
Yes, in that last half an hour, the English pack got to grips with you for almost the first time in the game, didn't they?
Yes, I think psychologically our boys probably thought they had.
A lot better than we anticipate. Team in black will be playing into a slight breeze. Willamette, the New Zealand fullback, will kick off into the slight breeze. There's no sun to speak of. Mr. Pat Murphy, the referee, checks his watch. And there we go. No mark claimed on the far side. McLeod overrunning that ball, and the British Isles in trouble immediately, joining that ruck on the wrong side. They joined the ruck on the wrong side, and that gives Willamette a chance to kick the first points of the game in the first minute. He's taking this kick from 8 yards out from the British Isles 25 and about 10 yards in from the far touchline. About a 35-yard kick. Have no difficulty making a bridge today. The ground is soft enough to get quite a good bridge, and yet provides a reasonable foothold. You'll notice Willamette faces the ball straight up and down. Where Wilson kicks at goal, you'll see he generally kicks it with the ball sloping towards the opponent's goal. It's not a bad one. It's not a bad one. It shaved that upright. It shaved the upright. Drop out 25. Watkins jogging up to the 25 now. It's a nice high one. Lahore taking, but pushed off the mark. A neat kick by Laidlaw, and he's finding that touch 3 yards outside the British Isles 25. Left winger Bebb. Welsh player putting this ball in. Tremaine overrunning that one. That could have been dangerous if he'd taken that one and gone through. This line out 2 yards outside the British Isles 25. Right winger Dick to put it in. McLeod in the front of the New Zealand line out. Gray behind him. Telfer with that ball at the back. And it's New Zealand penalised this time. Colin Meads too quick round the far side. The Scotland halfback Wilson comes up. Doesn't find his touch. Willamette moving in to open up the angle. But he was a little bustle then, a little bustle as the forward came through on him. The line out's on the New Zealand 10-yard mark. New Zealand ball, but not straight. Referee Murphy not satisfied, but that was straight. And the ball's not straight, you have a scrum down 15 yards in from the touchline. Laidlaw, New Zealand half putting it in. Karawini. This is not a bad kick if it finds touch. Wilson brings it infield. Oh, good work, Wilson. Good work. From just outside his own goal line, he found that touch 5 yards outside the British Isles 25. Right winger Dick again putting in. That was clean take, but inside the 25, and they'll work their way down a little before they'll loosen that ball into the backs. And the Meads have this ball. Laidlaw. Karawini finds a neat touch 5-7 yards inside the British Isles 25. That was a bad pass to Karawini. Very awkward run at his bootstraps. There, 28 caps for Wales, puts this in. Back quickly from Tremaine. You could see the breeze take that one. You could see the breeze take that one. It went into touch. 10 yards inside the British Isles 25. Kennedy, it was, running in after the ball. Kennedy in the front of their line out. McLaughlin behind him. Gray for New Zealand. Laidlaw, Karawini, McRae charging in, taking that tackle. Nathan trying to pick up, losing it. Outside the British Isles 25. New Zealand pack have this ball, but they can't get it back. Now they have. Karawini just coming through after this one. And the mark claimed and allowed by Gibson, a good mark under pressure. Gibson, Irish player, 13 caps for Ireland. He's cleared a little of the pressure. He's in touch 3 yards outside the British Isles 25. No score in the game. British Isles playing with the benefit of the breeze. Quick recovery by Laidlaw there. His reasonable ball, which he fumbled in the first place, but he recovered quickly. There begin. Untidy ball. In touch as Kennedy breaks for it. Kennedy breaks after it, but he crossed the touchline. The line umpire, incidentally, is Mr. Pring, who refereed the first test in Dunedin. McBride getting that ball in the line out, and New Zealand jumping through the line are penalised. Nice opening up of the angle by Gibson, but again not finding the touch. That's twice Willamette's left foot kick's been a trifle weak. This is in touch 12 yards outside the British Isles, the New Zealand 25. No score in the game, about 7 minutes gone. And there again. Back of the line out. The referee has a penalised task. Gives Willamette a chance to clear from outside the New Zealand 25. But again, he's hooked the left foot one a trifle. Line out almost on the halfway mark. Again, Bedford put it in. Most of the play on this side of the field so far. The wind's drifting over this way. Oh, nice take in the front of the line out. Gibson. Willamette at full stretch after this one. A beautifully placed kick. In a good attacking position here, Pat, 15 yards from the goal line.
Yes, it's the first time that they've been in this territory, Colin.
Wilson in as the extra man, perhaps. He's in an attacking position. Price gets it. Now quickly along the line. He's in two to take it. He takes it, feeds it quickly out, but the pass is behind Hinshelwood. Outside. Bebb coming in is tackled and spins out of that tackle. 5 yards inside the New Zealand 25. British Isles on attack again. Dick puts in, take in front of the line out. Drop goal on here, wait for it. Oh, it drifts outside the left hand upright. The right hand upright, it has gone across the dead ball line, drop out 25. Still no score. 8 minutes gone in the spell. Willamette had a penalty kick at goal in the first minute of the game. It went astray. Now that drop kick has just missed. Lahore. And that's quite neat work by Laidlaw. In spite of the fact he was being tackled by Telfer, he still got it away. 8 yards inside the New Zealand half. We could hear referee Murphy say, thrown in crooked. Comes 15 yards in from touchline, about 6 or 7 yards inside the New Zealand half. Laidlaw putting it in. Not hooked. The front rows were fairly low as they tacked down there. I'm not surprised that they collapsed. That's Hooker McLeod. Can't get his head in, so up comes Gray too. A little bit of wrestling on the tight head side there, I think. Laidlaw. And Heroine's kick doesn't. Yes, it does. Fine touch. 8 yards inside the British Isles, 25. Right winger Dick again. Might for a slightly longer one. To the back of this line out, but again taken by Price for British Isles. New Zealand trying to burst. Laidlaw. Dick. McRae. Back to Dick, who drops his pass. And here we go away. A long kick down the field from Kennedy, but the ball had actually come forward from Gibson. The ball had come forward from Gibson, so it's a scrum back. Scrum back midway between the British Isles 25 and the halfway mark and in towards midfield. Laidlaw to put this ball in. New Zealand holding and screwing. Where's that kick? Has it gone to touch in goal? Yes, it has. Touch in goal. Drop out 25. No score in the game, 11 minutes gone. British Isles playing with a breeze more or less behind them. No sun. The ground in good order. That's a good drop out. Telfer gets it back to Lewis. Pass trying to Wilson. Here, breakaway the ball is Colin Reid. Loose ruck on the 25. New Zealand, Laidlaw feeding the blind. Heroine. Dick trying to, oh, good tackle. Good tackle by Bebb. Bebb under him, lifting him up and dumping him into touch. About 15 yards from the goal line. Bebb again. In Laidlaw, Heroine, Dick, quickly McRae, a nice tackle kicked away by Gibson. Willamette in good position. Finding touch, nice range. About 10 yards inside the British Isles 25, far side of the field. Still no score in the game. This is Hinshelwood. First time I think we've seen him handling the ball. Colin Meads. Oh, I don't know whether it'll come out of that lot. And referee Murphy's of the same opinion. The scrum goes down 10 yards in from the far touchline and about 15 yards out from the British Isles 25. This is a drop goal position for Herowini if New Zealand get clean ball. And Lahore from the back of the scrum. Secondary ruck. Tremaine onto the ground. Quickly out on this side. Rangi to Dick. Dick can't take that, slightly behind him. Kicked ahead by British Isles to outside the 25. And there was a chance there for New Zealand, Pat.
Yes, if Ron Rangi's pass had been in front of his man, it would have been very dangerous.
Malcolm Dick. Ball into the line out, 10 yards out from the 25. Again, Colin Meads, Laidlaw, Herowini. Behind Bebb. Orchard rolling one. Oh, and that just dropped into touch, a foot from the corner. A quick throw in and a try to Nathan. A quick throw in and a try to Nathan. 6 yards in from the corner, and it's New Zealand 3, British Isles 0 after 13 minutes. British Isles caught napping a little bit there, Pat.
Yes, definitely, Colin. Quick thinking by Colin Meads, I think. He picked the ball up and threw it in straight away there to Walker Nathan, who also was alert.
Quite often with that quick throw in, the ball doesn't travel 5 yards, but that one did because Nathan was standing just inside the 5-yard line. It's a 6 yards from touch, a foot outside the 25. It's not a bad kick, and it's there all the way. Right down the middle, Williams scored the New Zealand fullback, and it's New Zealand 5, British Isles 0 after 14 minutes. Watkins back at halfway. Wilson making sure everybody gets back. In touch right on the British Isles 10-yard mark. 16 minutes into the first spell. New Zealand 5, British Isles 0. Not straight again. We haven't seen Lewis putting the ball into many scrums. Good ball and a neat kick. He's going to find touch 15 yards out from the New Zealand 25. British Isles working their way slowly back onto attack. Steele, Gray gets that one. Again, not straight. Lewis, number 9 for the British Isles, the halfback to put in. Oh, they've lost a tight head. Steele on the blind. That left foot century kick of his was partially blocked. It's in touch 6 yards inside the New Zealand half, far side of the field. There's one tight head to McLeod. Hinchelwood. Herowini. And neat kick again. 6 yards inside the British Isles half, far side of the field. Hinchelwood. Colin Meads, but he's being held with the ball. Laidlaw, Herowini. Out on this side to third, they're trying to run round Dick. Rangi. Nathan. Hazlitt. Long right foot kick from McLean. Wilson inside his own 25. Oh, he's in trouble. Dick and Nathan. He's got the ball almost to touch. No, he hasn't. Hazlitt, number 1. New Zealand looking for a quick hill. tied up in this. No chance of that coming out. I wouldn't care to be on the bottom of that. Let's have a look and see who it was. It's Gerald Tremaine coming out on his hands and knees. New Zealand's ball, a pushover try on here if they can hook it. They've got it out. Heroin, he throws it on there. He's trying to link the race forwards, but they're not there. And Heroin, I think, playing that ball on the ground, but a defensive penalty for the British Isles. Heroin will require attention, I think, from the St. John's Ambulance Brigade man. Referee Murphy calls him in. Number 6, Walker Nathan, who scored the first try and got 2 tries, I think, in the previous test. And down having a look, too, is the British Isles skipper, Watkins. Well, the game hasn't really settled into a pattern yet, Pat.
Not yet, Colin, but British Isles can't afford to make any errors. It was almost a repeat performance of the try scored when Baird fumbled the rolling ball.
That's true. There's Malcolm Dick, breathing a little heavily after he's run down this swing. A lot of interest in him today. He's been out for a while with a leg injury. He's not showing any signs of the injury today. Kennedy, the British Isles hooker, number 2, up there having a look at Heroin too, Kennedy being a doctor. And Lahore gives Heroin a pat on the back, and away we go. Penalty to the British Isles, 5 yards out from their own goal line, 20 yards in from this grandstand touchline. But plenty of height and length. 10 yards outside the British Isles 25. Still 5-0 to New Zealand. Dick puts in. Oh, nicely taken in the front of the line out by Williams. In touch now, 11 yards inside the British Isles half. Malcolm Dick. Gray deflects that back. And it's not straight. Some 15 yards in, 11 yards inside the British Isles half. Laidlaw signals then to McRae. New Zealand have the ball. They're holding. And British Isles penalised. Watkins it was. Watkins up behind the last man in the scrum. You must keep behind him. He's been penalised, and this is a chance for Willamette again. This one's 12 yards inside the British Isles half and about 15 yards in from this touchline. Quite a longish kick. Very tall goalposts at Eden Park, incidentally. They're about 73 feet high, I think. Referee Murphy refereeing his 10th test for New Zealand. That's more than any other New Zealand referee has ever refereed. A well-built player, Williman. Again shaving that right hand upright. Again shaving the right hand upright. Touchdown, drop out, 25. New Zealand 5, British Isles 0, 22 minutes into the spell. Another good high dropout. Lahore taking it. Heroini, Willamette. And Willamette safe even under pressure from pass. 5 yards inside the New Zealand half. Still in this main grandstand side of the field. Clean ball to Lewis. Lewis a little back on his heels. He was taking that one. Not quite in the position to set the 5/8 going. 6. Stan Mead, Tremaine overrunning that ball. Lahore breaking to the halfway. Colin Mead flicking it back infield. Gray to Heroini. The line umpire's flag is up. Colin Meads acting as halfback on the ground. Baird puts this one in. To the middle of the line out. It's tied up in that one. On the ground now, being rocked back. Referee Murphy can't see it coming clear, however. The scrum's right on the halfway mark. And 10 yards in from the grandstand. Laidlaw, a neat kick on that blind. 11 yards inside the British Isles half. Game hasn't really come alive yet. New Zealand ball quickly to Laidlaw, Heroini, McRae, Rangi on the far side to steal. Cover defence solid. Lahore overruns that one. McRae kicking ahead again. New Zealand back on attack, 15 yards out from the British Isles goal line. Five nil to New Zealand. Nice take by McBride. He loses it. Laidlaw, Heroini, drop goal on. Malcolm Dick has it. And Dick will score. Dick will score by the post. Beautiful opportunist try by Malcolm Dick. After Heroini's kick has been charged down, and it's New Zealand 8, British Isles 0, and that was good work by Dick.
Yes, very good, Colin. He was quick to that loose ball, and once it got underway, there was no stopping it. Typical of his efforts over in Great Britain.
There's the kick straight down the middle. Willamant didn't even bother to move back from that ball. He just placed it and then rammed it straight down the middle, and it's New Zealand 10, British Isles 0. Heroini shaping for that drop kick at goal. His pass was blocked. He sidestepped that man. The second kick was blocked. His second attempt was blocked. And it was a fortuitous one because Dick was right in position. Well, this is a big hurdle now for the British Isles to overcome. 10 points down. Gray taking that. Lahore too close to that touchline as he tries to pick it up. Baird to put it in. The referee's not satisfied. They're back 5 yards. Price deflecting that down. And Lewis taken to the ground by number 7, Tremaine. Dick and referee Murphy changes his position in the line out to have a look at this. Front of the line out, New Zealand's ball. Stan Meads. There's the kick from McRae, partially blocked. Trying to burst with it. Telfer gets it quickly back on this side. Watkins safe. In touch 10 yards out from the New Zealand 25. The sun comes out for the first time since the match started. Very pleasant conditions now. Not a great deal of breeze. Lions ball. It's a high one on the New Zealand 25. Hinchelwood, Willamant. And it's Willamant runs it into touch right on the New Zealand 25, far side of the field. New Zealand 10, British Isles 0. Hinchelwood to put in. On the ground at the back of the line out. And the referee has penalised Price. Price was round in the New Zealand side of that ruck. He's been penalised. Hello, somebody has a knock. Can't quite see from here who it is. I'll put the glasses on so I can pick them up from there. The knock on the shoulder, and Kennedy, the doctor, comes up to have a look at him. Looks like Lamont. Number 10, the British Isles captain, Watkins, comes in to have a look. And interested spectators McFadden and Gibson. Outside them, it's Lamont standing there, so it must be Pask that's on the ground. He's up now. It's a knock on the shoulder, which he's not. Yes, it is Pask. Just going to take him off to that far touchline. They're bad loss if they lose Pask. He's been playing good football towards this latter end of the tour. Kennedy gives him into the hands of the St John's Ambulance Brigade men, and back we go, and the British Isles are one man short at the moment. Drop out by New Zealand. Oh, the man in front from that kick. That should not happen in international football. British Isles now. Outside the New Zealand 25, a yard or so. Not hooked cleanly. Lewis, number 9, to put it in again. This time. Oh, and Gibson dropping it on the blind. Nathan overrunning it. Hinchelwood, 14, takes it into touch, a yard inside the half on the far side of the field. Steele to put this ball in. New Zealand 10, British Isles 0. Back there from McBride to Lewis. 15 yards out from the New Zealand 25, and Pask is coming off the field. Pask is coming off the field. Gray at the front of that New Zealand line out. The Laidlaw cuts out Heroini. McRae picking up. Nathan now bursting. Back quickly to Stan Mead. To Rangi. To Dick. Dick breaking over the halfway mark. The cover defence is across. There's Wrestling into touch. It's Watkins. They're going to touch. Fast round one over. Watkins number 10. Dick number 14. It's in touch 12 yards inside the British Isles half. They have to put this ball in for the British Isles. Oh, and taken by McBride, trying to fight his way through. He'll never get that ball back because he's facing the All Blacks way and not back towards his own side. You can't get the ball back there. Half-back Lewis to put this ball in. British Isles have it. They're holding and screwing, and Nathan offside. Nathan round too quickly. Penalty to the British Isles, about 6 yards, 7 yards inside their own half. And Watkins fails to find touch. Willamant opens up that angle a little, and it's in touch right on the 25, right on the New Zealand 25. 10 points to 0 in favour of New Zealand. And here's Pask. Here's Pask being brought off. It looks as if he's got a shoulder injury. Lyons ball out to Gibson. Quickly to Wilson, the extra man. Bresnahan forward, Pask to Hinchelwood. He's going down that far line, but the pass was squeezed forward from McFadden as he was tackled. And it's New Zealand to put the ball in. Laidlaw. A penalty against the New Zealand front row. The referee has just patted the New Zealand hooker McLeod on the back, signifying that the penalty was against him, and Wilson will have a shot at goal from here. Wilson to have a shot at goal from about 10 or 12 yards out from the New Zealand 25. He'll have the breeze behind him. You'll notice before, Willamant placed the ball straight up and down for his kicking. Wilson places the ball pointing towards the opponent's goal. Badly need these 3 points to get back in the game. The applause you can hear is for Pask. He's being brought round in front of the main stand. The crowd are giving him sympathetic applause as he comes off. It's not a bad kick, no, it's sliced out. Outside the left-hand upright and across the dead ball line, drop out 25. well into the first spell, and New Zealand leading 10 points to 0. Karawini looking to find a gap, but Hinchelwood was under it, but didn't gain much with it. 12 yards out from the New Zealand 25, far side of the field. Colin Meads for New Zealand. And coming round was McBride, joining that on the wrong side after Colin Meads had dummied a pass back. That's a penalty to New Zealand. There'll be a tap kick into Williman to open up the angle. And back into British Isles territory go New Zealand, midway between the British Isles 25 and the halfway mark, far side of the field. Taken New Zealand again. They're trying to get a passing rush going amongst the forwards. They lose it. Laidlaw. And he'll break. He's got support inside him. Nathan there at dummy half. Out to Karawini. Oh, Karawini's kick, not a good one. Taken nicely, but lost. Taken now by Wilson. He's in the middle of that lot. Kicked away by McLaughlin. Lahore. Left foot kick doesn't find touch. Wilson dribbles ahead. And who is being penalised? New Zealand penalised. Wilson was blocked as he tried to come through after that ball. Watkins. Dick covering for that one. Taking it right from the hands of Tremaine. It's in touch 6-7 yards inside the New Zealand half. New Zealand 10, British Isles 0. Tries by Nathan and Dick, both converted by Willamette. Nice take by Tremaine. Karawini, McRae, Rangi, Steele. Good tackle by Hinchelwood. McRae again. There's danger. Willamette safe. Won't find touch. Wilson up to the halfway mark. Bad luck his ankle tap there. Quickly into Kennedy and into touch 10 yards outside the New Zealand 25. Thought for a minute Wilson was clear, but the ankle tap just caught him. Oh, a lovely jump by Price. And Tremaine quickly understand Meads. To Nathan, it's forward, referee plays advantage. Now he brings them back for the forward pass. Gibson trying to break through with that. British Isles now packing a 7-man scrum with 1 man off. They have a 3-3-1 scrum at the moment. On the tight head. Oh, Lewis in trouble again. Neatly recovering, Nathan tackling him. Good dribble ahead. And Baird through very quickly onto Dick. Quick throw in. But it didn't come off. Come down 15 yards in from the touchline. New Zealand 10, British Isles 0. New Zealand scrum having to come back a little. Norfolk, ooh, that a nice flick reverse pass from Lewis there. Laidlaw. And Willamette taking the hook from the scrum. British Isles 10 yards inside the New Zealand 25. Down 10 points to 0. Oh, a lovely jump there by Price. Lewis out quickly to McFadden, and a quick one out on the far side to Hinchelwood. Oh, he'll score. Hinchelwood will score in the corner. A nice try for Hinchelwood in the corner. Scottish winger, played for Scotland 4 times. Played for London Scottish, I think, is plus. And it's 10 points to 3. That was a nice piece of work, that was.
Yes, Wilson was in the back line that time, Common, made the extra man, and just then left it to Hinchelwood to race over for the try. much-needed try, I feel.
Applause from the crowd as they go back into position, and here is Wilson with the ball. As you can see, it's almost on the 25, and it's about 6 yards in from that far touchline. This is an important kick too. They need this one. 10-5 would make a tremendous difference to the score. There's the kick. It's not a bad one. It's outside the upright, outside the right-hand upright. So it's 10 points to 3. With half-time approaching. Perawini to drop out at halfway. If the kick had been over, he'd have faced kick-off. As it wasn't successful, he drop kicked. And the drop kick wasn't successful either. It's taken by Colin Meads. The referee gives the British Isles the option of accepting another kick or taking a scrum back, and they elect to take the scrum back. Lewis, number 9, put the ball into the scrum. Don't forget the British Isles are a man short. They're packing a 7-man scrum. Laidlaw getting round a trifle quick there. What's the referee ruling? He's putting a scrum down. He ruled apparently that Lewis fumbled that ball and knocked it on a fraction. So it's New Zealand's ball. And they're bursting. Nathan bursting down towards the 25. An accidental offside by Nathan. Nathan, number 6, accidentally bumped into one of the New Zealand forwards just in front of him. It was an accidental offside on the British Isles 10-yard mark almost. And a tight head to New Zealand, but untidy ball picked up by Lewis. Beautiful break. Quickly to Gibson. Gibson coming down to the New Zealand 25. Cover defence gets him. Oh, magnificently taken by Nick Fetchin, and Nick Fetchin will score under the post. Oh, a beautiful try. A beautiful try, and it comes back to Gibson. One of the New Zealand players has received a knock just outside the 25. They come in to have a look at him. It looks like a Willamant. It looks like Willamant, but a beautiful try, that was.
Yes, definitely, Colin. A nice break by Gibson. He found that he didn't have the support on the outside, so he turned infield and linked up there with McFadden, who again made the difference.
It was a long pass to McFadden and a high one, but he made no mistake with that, and actually there was an unmarked man outside him. Ian Hinchelwood, the All Black defence was split wide open. It looks like a knock on the lower part of the back for Willamant. That's Kennedy in on the ground having a look at him. British Isles captain Watkins also having a look. Lahore, number 8, the New Zealand captain, up. The Lions have already lost one man. There's a big crowd here today. The terraces are packed. I should say the ground is near ground capacity, which is somewhere between 55 and 60,000. Crowd were assembling very early. There were about 200 people waiting since early last night, waiting for the gates to open. And Willamant not looking particularly happy at the moment. It can't be more than a couple of minutes to half-time, I shouldn't think. This is a sitter of a kick for the British Isles because they scored under the posts. It looks as if Willamant is coming off. I don't think that means he's going to leave the game permanently. I think with play so close to half-time, they're probably giving him the chance of taking the extra minute or two rest. Now Wilson has the ball placed straight out in front of the posts. It's a sitting kick, this one, and it's there all the way, and it's 10 points to 8, and this game comes alive again. With New Zealand leading 10-0, and the British Isles a man short, it looked as if the British Isles were gone. But those two tries have made all the difference in the world. It's 10 points to 8 in a new game of football. You hear the noise level starting to rise round the ground as the cry of black, black comes up. And here's Stan Meads leading that forward rush through after that ball. Number 4 with Colin Meads right behind him. Kel Tremaine at the back of the New Zealand line out, number 7, and Lamont, number 6 for the British Isles. Hinchelwood puts in. Out quickly to Herawini. Here's Dick after this one, 10 yards short of the goal line. Can he get the bounce? Oh, he doesn't take it cleanly. Wilson in touch about 10 yards from the goal line, and Dick has been penalised. A quick kick taken, and that relieves pressure again. It's in touch 8 or 9 yards out from the British Isles 25. And if Malcolm Dick picked that one up, I think he could have perhaps scored in the tackle. Right on half-time, and it's New Zealand 10, British Isles 8. New Zealand's ball. Colin Meads loses. Now back to Laidlaw. Herawini. Herawini in trouble. Tremaine trying to pick it up. And on the ground, the British Isles played the ball and are penalised. It's Lamont penalised. Now, what's going to happen? Willamette would normally have a shot at goal here. But with Willamette off the field, they're taking a tap kick instead. It's not a bad one. They're right under this. Lahore takes it. Quick heel needed. There's the heel. Herawini. Oh, the pass a little behind it. From down, 5 yards in from the touchline and 7 yards in the British Isles 25. And again, Pat, it looked like a try-on, and that brings us to half-time. It's half-time at Eden Park, Auckland, with New Zealand leading British Isles 10 points to 8. Behind the New Zealand goal line, drop out 25. Now Willamette came back onto the field at half-time. Willamette, the New Zealand fullback, left the field 2 minutes before half-time, but he came back on after attention. But Task is still off the field. Willamette not showing any limp at all. But Task is off the field with a shoulder injury. Knock on? Yes. Referee Murphy rules that one was knocked on. Lewis putting the ball in. Right through the side. Here's Nathan. Steele not picking that up. Telfer firing it back behind him. Watkins. Line out 1 yard inside the New Zealand half. New Zealand leading 10 points to 8 in the first minute of the second spell and playing into a strong sun. Not much profit in that one. A couple of yards inside the New Zealand half. And Steele to put this ball in. New Zealand ball. Gray it is with the ball, but not straight. Only one tight hit in the game, and that was when the packs were even, and McLeod has that tight hit for New Zealand. Referee Murphy not satisfied that was hooked. And on the blind, oh, Watkins in a lot of trouble there trying to pick that bad one up at his feet. Could easily have gotten into trouble. Steele, number 13, New Zealand track champion, to put this ball in. Lahore. Laidlaw. Herawini. Hinchelwood. Oh, Willamette not seeing that in the sun. And the British Isles right back on attack now. 5 yards inside the New Zealand 25. Hinchelwood, number 14, to put this ball in. Knocked back. And they've got an extra man in here. The fullback's in. Gibson's dummy over the 25. Laidlaw. Back in field again to McLeod. Robbed of the ball. Lewis neatly inside. Williams trying to take it through, but they lost control of it. 10 yards from the New Zealand goal line. British Isles on hot attack again. Steele to put it in. British Isles ball trying to back their way through. Williams leading this one's behind the goal line. Steele wins the race for the ball, number 13. I think you heard he sighed a fraction as he went down on that ball. It's drop out 25. Steele getting up gingerly there. Lahore having a word with him. St. John's Ambulance Brigade man comes in to render whatever aid needed. The sun is shining quite strongly now, Pat. New Zealand playing into it in this spell of 1 or 2 high kicks might give them some trouble.
Yes, particularly with Willamette, who is still not 100% at the moment. And if the British Isles use that sun and play to Willamette, New Zealand could be in a bit of trouble, I think.
Noticeable that the British Isles line-outs tightened up a bit, Pat. The gaps aren't there as they were before.
Quite right, yes. And they're going to get better ball now, I think.
And away we go. Steele is okay. Heroini to drop out. That's going to travel too far. It's in touch on the full. You can hear McBride, number 5, calling from here. Leave it go, leave it go. Now here's a chance. There's a drop goal on here for Watkins, or they can open up on the loose side or the tight side. We'll wait and see. Can't get those front rows down. A little bit of wrestling for the loose head going on the far side. The referee's discussing the matter. And immediately they go down. Williams starts wrestling for the tight head again, McLaughlin, and he's been penalised. And that was silly there, Pat. That was a good attacking position.
Yes, they wasted that.
And Willamette found his touch right on halfway. Far side of the field. New Zealand 10, British Isles 8. The breeze seems to have chopped round. If anything, it's blowing a little bit in the opposite direction. It may be favouring the British Isles at the moment. Ball in to Laidlaw, Heroini. They've got Dick for the extra man here. Hinchelwood picking up to Telfer, quickly to Lewis. Rangi in cover defence. Rangi runs it into touch. Midway, New Zealand 25 on the halfway mark. Grandstand side of the field. Somebody else with a knock. McLaughlin. Referee Murphy has a talk to McLaughlin. He's okay. Hinchelwood to put this in. Not straight, says the referee, and he has penalised Hinchelwood for not putting the ball in straight. "12 yards inside the New Zealand half. Towering kick from Willamette. That's a useful one too. Couple of yards outside the British Isles. Hinchelwood tempted for the quick throw in there, but Stan Mead shooting through for the intercept just in case it came. Hinchelwood. Will line out. His ball. Kicked ahead by Gray. It's Gibson with the ball. Wrestling with Nathan. And it was marked, a fair mark, fair catch allowed. McLeod on the mark for New Zealand, number 2. You can see the sun is shining quite strongly now from the shadows. That's not the best kick Gibson's ever done, but it's cleared to outside the British Isles 25 by a yard. Oh, nicely deflected down. New Zealand looking for the Willie away movement. New Zealand trying to pick this ball up and losing it. Heroini now. Gibson, good mark. A good mark. Tremaine just gives him a rub on the head as he goes past. More in affection than in anger. Gibson right back to the British Isles goal line. And finds touch just inside the 25. New Zealand 10, British Isles 8. New Zealand playing into the sun. Back of the line out. Who has this one? Nobody's got control of it. The British Isles have. Williams trying to fight his way through. New Zealand pack driving here. New Zealand's ball, but not hooked. Not hooked just as well, perhaps. Lamont was looming up inside there, number 6. A tight head drop goal onto Watkins. Wait. No, to the left of the upright. To the left of the upright. Well, a 7-man Lions pack took a tight head then. One tight head each. This is anybody's game. We're getting into the second spell. It looks like one of the All Blacks is going to need a new pair of trousers. I think it's Malcolm Dick. Looks like the strap around the top of the trousers is broken. So it's 10 points to 8. The British Isles playing 1 man short, but far from being downhearted.
Oh, yes, they're right in this game now, Colin. After a very bad start in the first half, they've come right back into the game.
It's Steele doing the courier's job and running the trousers out into the centre. Well, if Malcolm Dick's got the right size, they usually send out a pair for a back that are big enough to fit Colin Meads. Lowe's are fairly bulky, but at least he's mobile. So back we come, we drop out on the 25. Time to get under this one. Breaking away with it is Price. Back in field to McBride. 5 yards inside the New Zealand 25. Lewis. Watkins. Gibson, a bad pass. Tremaine. Heroini. Steele. Oh, that's through Steele's arm. It's Gray who gets it into touch with Watkins flying at her, and that was bad take of a pass back.
Yes, another lost opportunity there, Colin.
A sitting pass, that one. Just inside the New Zealand 25. They're working, trying to work their way around the tight head. No chance of getting this one. It's too close to touch. Far too close to touch. Hinchelwood, who was trying to back through. And it's New Zealand's ball just inside their own 25 by a yard. 10-8 to New Zealand. Whose ball? New Zealand's ball. No, they've lost it. Lewis. Watkins, Gibson, he's going for a left foot goal. It's outside the post. Drop out 25 again. Well, the Lions keeping the pressure up even though they're a man short. And the New Zealand side making too many errors at the moment. The Lions have made a few too. Heroini looking for the gap to drop out, and he's found it. Oh, but he couldn't get a touch on the full. Well, here's an attacking position for the British Isles again. They can open up the play, both sides. Lewis to put this in. They've got the ball. They're holding it. Now they let it out. It is partially blocked. McFadden quickly out to Watkins. Watkins through. Meek one out to McFadden. On this side again, taken by Biff. He loses the ball. Quick heel wanted. They've got it. Mason through quickly. Gibson. Oh, beautifully angled kick, and Hinchelwood get there. It's gone too far. Drop out 25, and Hinchelwood has been penalised for going into Willamette, for playing Willamette before the ball had reached him. But a penalty kick to New Zealand about 6 yards out from the goal line, and Willamette a bit shaken up. Willamette a bit shaken up. 10 points to 8. Lahore talking to Willamette. Laidlaw up there too. A lot of pressure here, Pat, in the last few minutes from the British Isles.
Yes, the British Isles have been having their own way in the last 10 minutes or so. But New Zealand have just managed to keep them out, and I think they may be getting a stirring up there now.
And Heroini takes the penalty, and his kick finds touch 6 or 7 yards outside the New Zealand 25. He wants a bucket of water. And out onto the field comes Hinchelwood. £10 to 8 in favour of New Zealand. Approximately half the second spell gone. I think Watkins is all right. The wet sponge on the back of the neck and a bit of water, and he'll be okay. And he is okay. New Zealand 10, British Isles 8.
Scottish farmer's tractor broke down. He popped the boot, flipped the seats, and drove his prize Shetland to the local horse show. Not the most conventional use for the versatile Jazz, but probably the most Honda one. The more than spacious Jazz, now available with 0% APR representative. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's a fantastic sales opportunity. Hi, I'm Paul Devon, CEO of WG Office Supplies. Due to our extremely successful free audit radio advertising campaign, we are now looking to recruit ambitious business development managers. So if you're in sales in the office supplies industry or have a proven sales track record, we want to hear from you. Send your CV to careers@wgo.co.uk. That's careers@wgo.co.uk.
From our right and the British Isles playing from the left, and what a vital test this is for the British Isles. There's the whistle and the third test is underway. And the first line out of the test, 10 yards outside the Lions 25. Left wing three-quarter, Tony Steele to throw in. Laidlaw feeds Heroini. Wilson waiting and gets the fair catch. Six yards inside the Lions 25. And left foot for touch.
One of the early faults that were apparent in the British Isles tour was the lack of tight line-out play, and it's interesting even in these first two line-outs to see how they have improved on this facet of their play.
First set scrum of the test. Lewis to put the ball in. Tony against the New Zealand front row. The crowd gets a tap on the shoulder. There's the tap penalty to Di Watkins. Out to Mike Gibson. Williman's going to have to hurry across. Gathers the ball. And it's in touch. Ten-yard mark, British Isles. Dewey Bebb to throw in. Laidlaw. New Zealand controlling it.
finally Donald Thomas gets a big flip to it. Very good work there by the New Zealand scrummaging unit. They pushed the British Isles back about 5 or 6 yards. Whether this is caused by the change of putting Thomas into the front row, we don't know. Another indecisive line out. 9 yards into the Lions' half. Half the first goal gone. And Smith to throw in. Hiruini McRae to Hiruini again. 2-1, yes, in front of him. Steele has it. Touch on the post. Goes to 10 yards outside the 25. Nathan kicks to the head, but it's gone forward. Set strike. Beautifully picked up by Steele on that occasion. As this game progresses, the New Zealand backs are starting to run more and more. The ball is being cleared quicker. The British Isles aren't getting through on top of Laidlaw to upset his passes, and they're moving very well indeed. Mike Gibson has received a bunt. Campbell Hamilton there with the St. John's Ambulance Brigade has been looking at Gibson, and it's a bit of the old bleeding nose trouble. And an opportunity to have a look at the statistics. Line-outs, New Zealand 8, British Isles 6, indecisive 11. Scrums favouring New Zealand by the 7-4 with a tight head apiece. Penalties favouring the British Isles by 6-3 rather, with Willemant kicking the only points of the match so far, a penalty goal after 19 minutes. And the drizzle has stopped. It's a little brighter now. Gibson still receiving attention. The crowd here probably around about 46 or 47,000. There they are. Overcoats and scarves, umbrellas, programs for hats. It's that sort of day here at Lancaster Park. Lewis to put it in, 10 yards outside his 25. New Zealand controlling this one. Nathan coming away. Slips it to Lahore. He crashes over the 25 by 5 yards. It's 10 yards inside the lines. 25 now, and they're in trouble if New Zealand can win it. Over the top go New Zealand forward, some 5 yards from the line. And referee Murphy blows for the set scrum. Plenty of fire, Dennis. Now this is the whole secret of this game. The teams are fairly evenly balanced. You couldn't say that one side was on top. But when New Zealand start to drive in the forwards, they really looked good. And we saw it then. We saw them drive the British Isles completely off that ball in the scrum. Push them well back off it. Laidlaw's got it in the first to Hiruini. There's the pot. Drop out 25. Fly half, David Watkins. The man that New Zealand will remember played for Newport when they beat the All Blacks 63-64 to him. There's Lahore with the ball. Slips it to McRae, goes inside, gets it to Hazlitt. Coming away, Colin Mead. Long pass out here, Steele tapping the pace on. Going to the corner. Crashed in the touch there by Wilson and McFadden. 1 yard from the line. What tremendous form Colin Mead is in this year, playing better than he ever has. He started that movement then, carrying the ball characteristically in that one hand. And Tremaine, no. It's a penalty to New Zealand. I think Dennis Young, like myself, a little bit bewildered at the moment, so we didn't pick that at all. I didn't pick it anyway, Dennis. No, I couldn't pick what that was. Tremaine looked as though he was about to hurl himself across for the try. He was held up in the air, whether the whistle had gone at that stage or not, but he didn't seem to be trying very hard to get over the line. Possibly the whistle had gone. So Willemant kicking from some 8 yards in from touch, just outside the 25 by a yard.
There it is. It looks as though it's right on target. New Zealand go further ahead by 6 points to 0. Willemint, his second penalty goal. And there he is, the man from Wellington, who's kicked so many fine goals for Wellington, who's been a pretty good fullback for Wellington over the years, and now turning out to be a pretty good fullback for New Zealand. And to those viewers in England who are watching this, well, of course, remember Willemint played some club rugby over there only last winter. There's the kick-off. Long pass to McRae. It's in front of him. He knocks it forward. And as IST Smith tried to clear it, it was charged down. However, they're back for the set scrum. About 1 yard outside the New Zealand 25. Bebb's going to be in this one if they get it on the Lions side. Wilson looks as though he's going to show some interest too. However, it wasn't into the referee's satisfaction.
Thomas is the prop on this side for the Lions, and he's amazed me today. I didn't think he would play as well as this in that position.
There's Di Watkins jinking. He goes past Nathan. He goes past Hirawini and flicks it to Gibson. And Gibson's found a gap. And he's clapping it on. Over the 25 he goes. Infield to Stuart Watkins. He could be in. No, he's held right on the line. It's loose. It's a dive. It's a try to the Lions. And it looks like Campbell Lamerton. Let's see who gets up with it. It's not Campbell Lamerton. I think it's the very popular Lamont. And we notice as we get a close shot of Lamont going back, who's played a lot of fine rugby on this tour for the Lions. It appears that he's wearing shoulder pads. This is interesting because I think it was, Dennis, in 1959 that there was some problem with shoulder pads, and I think it was even the very same test on the very same ground.
That's quite correct. There was quite a bit of publicity about the types of shoulder pads that New Zealand were wearing at the time. Some of them were like great harnesses coming down as far as the waist, and there were allegations that this was used as a sort of a battering ram when New Zealand forwards went into the rush. Now that was the type of play that we expect of Lions backs. A beautiful run by Gibson.
Well, here's this vital kick by Stuart Wilson. It's no goal, just outside. And that is in fact the first try that the British Isles have scored in the series. So back to halfway with New Zealand leading by 6 points to 3. Becky Hirawini. And there was a man in front.
That shouldn't happen in top rugby. There's no excuse for that.
Pereira is right in centre field. Hooked in the flash to Lewis, reverse pass to David Watkins, dinks past Nathan, kicks one for Dewey Bebb, and it's going to go across and into touch. We've seen Watkins on this tour, the twinkling feet on the firm grounds, and he seems to be just as adept in the grounds, a little bit soft on top. There's the throw by Smith. Laidlaw's in a hurry. The far side, 14 yards inside the New Zealand half. IST Smith throwing in for New Zealand. Tap down, this is a dangerous one. New Zealand forwards pouring through. Racing back, this Lewis, and he's into touch 10 yards outside his 25. Lewis to Di Watkins, a lovely pass too, but it wasn't struck. Control of the New Zealand forward pack. Stuart Wilson gathers 3 yards outside his 25 and makes no mistake with the touch finder. Play on halfway.
The game really is remarkably even. It's both sets of backs have been handling, passing the ball very well, running hard. The forwards, New Zealand slightly on top here, I feel, with that driving play of theirs. But all the same, the Lions doing very well. A great improvement from what we saw 2 tests ago at Dunedin.
And there's a good kick from the boot of Hirawini. 10 yards outside the Lions' 25. Dewey Bibb, throw in. Over the top goes Tremaine. Stan Reeds, McLeod, they're all there. There goes the pine tree from the King Country, down towards the corner flag. Ken Gray was there, the New Zealand pack. Alan Lewis to put the ball in, 3 yards from the line. Being held in the back this time by Pass. Back to Wilson in goal, he has to hurry and gets it to touch too. 10 yards out from the Lions goal line. 35 minutes gone, the score's level, and you wouldn't see a better try than that, Denison.
You'd have to go a long way before you saw a try the equal of that in the test match. Beautiful work. New Zealand got themselves into trouble by spinning the ball. From the earlier movements of this, when the All Blacks were attacking, they missed out McRae altogether. The ball got to Rangi, but Rangi couldn't break clear at all. The ball went to the ground, and then we saw some great following up by the Lions, kicking the ball through, keeping the ball in play when it was almost out, and finally David Watkins scoring that wonderful try on the far side.
And much rests on the shoulders and right boot of fullback Wilson as he drives the ball. Scores level. Half-time only some 4 minutes away.
I think this ground has actually improved in this first half. It's not appearing to have any effect on the game at all. The handling the ball as if it was dry. In fact, the ball is dry. The ground is still a little bit slippery, but it doesn't seem to be adversely affecting it at all in any way.
There's the kick, and the crowd will tell us. It's no goal. The scores, 6 points all. New Zealand's points coming from 2 penalties by Willemans, and the Lions 2 tries, 1 by Lamont and a try by David Rock. And Mike Gibson kicks off. The second half, the score's leveled at 6 points all. Willemans takes it 4 yards outside his line, comes in field for the better angle and finds touch. Play to 10 yards outside the New Zealand 25. Throwing in Dewey Bibb. There he is, TV commentator in Wales, plays for Swansea. New Zealand driving through, Laidlaw calling for it.
I feel that New Zealand may change their tactics in the second half and try and set up secondary play fairly close to their forwards so that they can get into these rucks and use this ability to drive forward. Both tries that the Lions have scored have been scored directly from dropped ball, bad passes by the All Blacks further out in the outside backs.
Knocked on by IST Smith. New Zealand right winger. And a good one for the Lions. If they can win this, everybody will be in. Bibb is standing deep. Wilson is standing up. He's going to come in. There might have to be some solid tackling out of the middle of the New Zealand back line if they get this one.
And of course, they've got just the men there to do it. Ian McRae, second 5'8", powerful tackler. Rangi, a crash tackler at centre.
And the Lions have got it. Guy Watkins kicks across for Stuart Watkins, his right winger, bouncing in over in. Can Watkins get it? He got a good bounce, but he couldn't handle it. And it's in touch, 12 yards inside the New Zealand 25.
Both hookers having a fair lash in there today.
Lewis, dummy reverse pass. Gibson found the gap, whacks the pace on. Out it goes. Can he get the pass away? It's forward. Watkins picks it up, and it was forward.
Had McFadden passed that ball, the moment he received it, I feel sure that Watkins would have gone on, but he just held a fraction too long.
Laidlaw kicks, bouncing end over end towards the touchline. Dewey Bibb picks it up right on the touchline, goes past IST Smith, kicks ahead. And it's in touch, 5 yards inside the New Zealand 25.
So I feel the Lions are getting slightly on top in this match. They're holding New Zealand forwards at the moment. They're throwing everything in. A lovely pass back to Guy Watkins. There's a drop. It's outside the post. They seem prepared to chance their arm, Dennis, at the moment. Well, they're 2 tests down. They've got nothing to lose. This is their strength. Always has been the strength with the Lions teams that we've had in New Zealand. Mac Hiruini to drop out. Laidlaw gathers and clears. Thomas bursting through then. Thomas hasn't played for his country Wales yet, and yet he's been one of the finds and one of the stars of this tour. Down pretty untidily to Laidlaw. The Lions keeping the pressure on, 10 yards inside the New Zealand 25. Dewey Bibb to throw it. Right to the back. Taken down by Tremaine. New Zealand driving through, they lose it. Guy Watkins back to the corner. Good one too. Pass came out to Murphy, but caught him by surprise then. Midway 25 and goal line in New Zealand territory. Laidlaw clears, almost charged down, but it's in touch. It was Laidlaw versus Laidlaw at that moment. Laidlaw hooker for Lions, Laidlaw halfback for the All Blacks. 6 yards inside the New Zealand 25. Ian Smith throwing in. Chris Laidlaw calling for it. It's charged down by his counterpart Laidlaw. And driving in the Lions, going to win this run, they could be dangerous. It's a penalty, New Zealand. Lions player in front of the ball on the ground. The rules are clear on this, that they must be behind. Willamette makes no mistake, takes play to 2 yards outside the New Zealand 25. Campbell Lammerton at 3. There's Alan Lewis, badly wanting possession. Stan leaves there for New Zealand. And Lewis gets it, but it wasn't struck. Well, there was a fullback ready to come into the Lions' back line again, but unfortunately, once again, the ball didn't come clearly from the line-out. Chris Laidlaw's got it to Hiruini. Down the touchline. Valuable yards for New Zealand, 12 yards inside the New Zealand half. Bibb to throw in, Stuart Wilson up. On the New Zealand side, leads to Laidlaw, long pass Hiruini. McRae. Ruggie, Steele, crashed to the ground by Watkins. Penalty New Zealand. It's Lamont. Lahore calling up fullback Willamette. And no change to the half-time score, 6 points all. Willamette right footing down the touchline. In touch, midway 25 and halfway, Lions territory. What was quite a lengthy siege for New Zealand is lifted. Stuart Watkins to throw in. Walker Nathan at the back of the line out for New Zealand. Murphy for the Lions. Colin leads Laidlaw to Hiruini. Stuart Watkins racing back 5 yards inside his 25. Clears in a hurry as Steele comes down. Hasn't found touch. Laidlaw takes it in front of Willamette. And this is a beautiful kick if it finds a lovely kick. 3 yards from the goal line, British Isles. 10 minutes gone. Second half of the test. Now the New Zealand backs have been a little bit stereotyped in their passing. Now this is an occasion where a trick could be used, and in fact the forwards are using a trick. But it didn't come off. Well, actually it was the trick was it was being worked by the Lions and not the British Isles, by the New Zealand team then. Steele to throw in. Willamette indicating he may be in if they get this one.
There's the throw in well to the back. And Williman's going to be in. Hirawini puts it high in the air in front of the post. Stuart Wilson calls for the fair catch. McLeod standing on the mark. Wilson will kick with the left foot. A good hefty punt. 6 yards outside the Lions 25. Steele throwing in. Held there by Meads. Laidlaw to Hirawini. McRae kicks. On goes the pace by Rungy. Bouncing end over end. Across there, Stuart Wilson runs into touch. Midway, goal line in 25. New Zealand having a turn on attack. Colin Meads at 3, Hazard at 4. There's the long one to the back. McLeod in there looking for it. Meads looking for it. New Zealand forwards going in, rucking hard. They've got it. Hirawini going for a pot, kicks it high in the air over the goal line. Wilson takes it. Down it goes, it's loose. Referee Murphy says 5 yards. And a little New Zealand first 5'8", Mac Hirawini, taking a bump up on his feet. Favouring his left leg, referee Murphy, they're having a look at him. Pat Murphy, North Auckland. This is the second test match in the current test series that referee Murphy has controlled. Dewey Bebb showing some interest. Ian McRae there also, like Campbell Lamerton. Delvin Tremaine, number 7.
Both back lines are suffering from lack of clean ball from lineouts. We saw it before when the Lions were on attack. We saw it then when New Zealand was on attack. The ball was not taken cleanly, didn't come back to Laidlaw very well, came out to Hirawini. He looked as if he was going to pot one moment, found he couldn't, he was blocked, and then sent that up and under just over the goal line. And I think that this was the stage that he was hurt. Lions forward following through probably hit him to the ground, but he seems to be all right now.
Yes, number 10, Hirawini back into position. Laidlaw to put the ball in. New Zealand on attack, 5 yards from the Lions line. With a good close-up of the scrum. Laidlaw being held in the back. Watch that control by Lahore there. Sorry, Lahore's off. Off the side here, he's out on Laidlaw's right. New Zealand screwing the scrum and bouncing into touch.
After all that good control by the All Black forwards, the ball was tapped out the side and they lost what could have been a dangerous movement had the scrum screwed at that moment, and Laidlaw got the ball and passed out to his captain.
Gray takes it down for New Zealand. Laidlaw's got it this time. Hirawini. Grabber kicks. This could be dangerous. Wilson flying across there. It's loose. Who wants it? It's a dive speculator by Stewart Watkins, and it's in touch and goal. Carried back there. 5 yards.
New Zealand's ball. Wonderful position to attack from here. I wonder if we'll go the blind or the open.
Willamette looks as though he's going to be in if they get it.
Possibly a winger in too.
And there's everything set for the reverse pass. Hirawini's diving. He's held right on the line. Rucking for it. Laidlaw's got it out to Steele. Steele's in for New Zealand. Tony Steele plays his rugby for Canterbury.
When Laidlaw got the ball from that scrum, he passed to Hirawini, who was coming back across the flow of play. Hirawini almost got there. In fact, I think he tripped just and fell just short of the line from the resulting ruck. The ball was heeled very quickly by these New Zealand forwards, and the ball was spun out to Steele, who gratefully took it on that wing and then moved around as close as he could behind the posts.
Williman's kick is about 20 yards in from touch. It's on the way. It's no goal. New Zealand have hit the front by 9 points to 6. Brian Lahore over there. Chris Laidlaw, who's receiving some attention. It looks like Mac Heroini. Yes, it's the little New Zealand first 5/8. Mike Campbell-Lamington, number 5, walking across. Norris, number 1 there. And there is conversation now, Campbell-Lamington and Murphy. Norris going to the sideline to receive some attention. Heroini's okay. Wakanathan up there, number 6. And time to have a look at the statistics, the line-outs. New Zealand 21, British Isles 11, indecisive 21. Scrums favouring New Zealand by 20 to 10. The tied heads, 2 to New Zealand, 1 to the Lions. Penalties, 8 to New Zealand, 8 to the Lions. Willemant has kicked 2 goals from penalties. The Lions' points coming from tries by Lamont and Watkins, and New Zealand's 9 points made up of 2 penalty goals and a try by Steele.
Norris is getting a rub on the back over there, but he's tough. Plays for Cardiff, for Wales, played against the 1963 and 64 All Black team, and it would take a steamroller blow to put this man out of the game.
I'm wondering, Dennis Young, whether some of our viewers who will be watching this in both Wales and England will in fact remember you and perhaps say the same thing.
Copy this look. I'd like to see their wingers looking for work. The blindside winger coming across and moving into the back line.
Back for touch. One yard outside the New Zealand 25. Dewey Bebb to throw in. Colin Mead second take. Laidlaw down the touchline. Stuart Wilson across. Into touch. Three yards inside the Lions' half. Leeds, strong man. Nathan. McRae gathers it nicely. Could be in trouble. McRae after it inside the 25. Dewey Bebb picked up by Wakanathan. He's in. Two yards from the corner. There he is, Wakanathan. Great fan with the French spectators, Dennis, I believe, on the 63-64 tour, which you were on yourself.
Nicknamed the Black Panther after some tremendous displays, especially on Twickenham.
So 20 minutes gone, and New Zealand go further ahead, leading by 12 points to 6, with Willement's attempted conversion still to come.
That was one of those tries that just happened. I doubt very much when Ian McRae kicked the ball, if he thought that a try would result from it. The ball was within a couple of feet of going out at one stage there, but both Lions players overran the ball, and Nathan, of course, is extremely quick in snapping up loose ball, and he snapped it up at top and in the corner.
Well, let's watch Willement's kick. It's on its way. And it's 14 points to 6 to New Zealand. Willement, 2 penalty goals, 1 conversion today. And having a good game for New Zealand at fullback as well. Mike Gibson on halfway. And the local fans with a taste of victory. Mike Gibson. There's the kickoff. Colin Meads, my ball.
The crowd certainly chanting. It doesn't quite compare with the singing at Cardiff Arms Park, but the feeling is there, I'm sure.
There's a close-up. Let's watch it. Lewis has got it. Watkins, Gibson, slips it in field, and McFadden nicely. Puts it high in the air. Smith waiting inside his 25 by 10 yards. It beats everyone into touch.
Whatever out again, they're trying things all the time.
10 yards from the New Zealand line. "15 yards now from the New Zealand line. Let's watch the throw. Right to the back, past with the ball, kicks it high in front of a New Zealand post. It's over the goal line, bouncing towards the dead ball line. Drop out 25.
Lamont was up there very quick, but
Lewis puts the ball in. Laidlaw's around in a flash. Bry Watkins kicks for touch, and he's found it. 5 yards inside the New Zealand half. New Zealand leading by 14 points to 6. Joel Tremaine controlling things this time. Penalty New Zealand. Offside Hooker Laidlaw. Willamette being called up. Laidlaw to Willamette. Badly directed. Taken by McBride. Campbell Lamberton knocks it on. Gathers the ball. Is crashed to the ground. Set scrum. 11 yards inside the Lions half, almost in centre field. Good one for New Zealand. Can attack on either flank. Laidlaw's put it in. He's got it in a flash. Slips it to McRae running hard on the left. He's got Smith outside him. Going beautifully. Jigging back in field. Fires it to Tremaine. And it goes here to Gray. Flicks it to Waka Nathan. Nathan's going to score it behind the post. And I'm wondering if this takes Dennis Young back to perhaps the London Counties game.
well, if he's playing a blinder of a game today is the Black Panther, Waka Nathan. The try originated from that scrum where Heroini moved from this side, the side near the camera, as a dummy, went to the far side, we'll call it the blind side, and McRae reversed the position, took the ball, ran hard, then veered infield and linked up with his forwards who had followed up in the centre, and, well, the result, triumphed at the posts.
Mick Willamette waiting patiently while one of the Lions players receives some attention down here. There's number 13, McFadden, who is in fact the only English cap playing for the Lions today. It won't come any easier than that, and Willamette adds the extra points to make it New Zealand 19, British Isles 6. Tries for New Zealand by Steele and 2 to Waka Nathan. 1 conversion by Willamette, who's also kicked 2 penalties. And for the Lions, tries by Lamont and David Watkins. 30 minutes gone. New Zealand leading by 19 points to 6. Gibson to kick off. Ken Gray says, I'll have it. Comes to Chris Laidlaw. Kicks in a hurry. Dewey Bebb takes it on halfway. Referee Murphy brings them back to the set scrum. Now what will the policy be? Wilson being called up from fullback. This is about 5 in from touch and about 12 yards inside the British Isles, inside the All Blacks half. It's a long kick for Wilson. Have the assistance of the southwesterly breeze behind them. Ground, as Dennis Young said earlier, has dried out a lot since play started. Important kick. Won't be a goal. Colin Meads will take it. Hasn't found touch. Over there is Murphy, and it's in touch now. If memory serves me correctly, when the Lions played here in '59, Kelvin Tremaine and Colin Meads played for New Zealand, and I think Murphy played on the side of the scrum for the Lions on that occasion. And from the line out it comes to Lewis, to David Watkins, a long pass out to McFadden. On goes the pace by Gibson. Out it comes to Dewey Bebb. He's got to go around a couple of players. He doesn't go around Williman. Goes back in field. Gibson's crashed to the ground by Nathan, 10 yards from the New Zealand line. Bebb picks it up. Nathan's across there to give him a little bump at the touch. And it's midway goal line and 25. Campbell Lamerton to Lewis. In front of Watkins, taken by Gibson, changes direction, goes for touch. Midway 25 and halfway New Zealand territory. Scrum is favouring New Zealand by 23 to 18. Lewis has got this one. David Watkins. This to McFadden. Put by Herowilli over halfway. Kelvin Tremaine with the ball at toe. Up to the 10-yard mark. And as it comes back to Stan Meads, referee Murphy blows for the set scrum. The Lions can attack on either flank. Lewis, pass attaches, infield to Lewis, over the 10-yard mark he goes, Campbell Lamerton knocks the ball on. 5 yards inside the Lions' half. Against Laidlaw. Lewis to Watkins, over halfway, over the 10-yard mark. Out to Gibson, changing direction, over the 25, he's got everyone on the wrong foot. Back to David Watkins, out to Stuart Watkins, picked up Campbell Lamerton 3 yards inside the New Zealand 25. Stuart Watkins, it's the pass away, taken over there by Lamont. Pass finally in touch with it. 10 yards from the New Zealand line. Some good rugby, Dennis Young.
Yes, but how many times have we seen that? Once again, the final pass, the pass that would gain the points, not being given well.
Yes, fair comment.
This is the story of the match, of course, that the British Isles have used their backs and tried everything they can, but in doing this,